Good morning. My name is Amy Tucker, and I'm the Assistant Dean for Graduate Education and Research at the OU Health Sciences Center Graduate College. And I'm going to talk to you about an event that we recently featured to emphasize the importance of interdisciplinary training and team collaboration. Each year, the Graduate College hosts the Graduate Research Education and Technology Symposium, which we refer to kindly as GREAT. This year, we were really excited to launch the Great Debate. Now, this is really a team presentation event in which we had two teams comprised of graduate and professional students from across campus, from each of our different colleges, and representative of a variety of disciplines in research and healthcare. Each of the teams had to stake and defend a position, arguing either in favor of or against a select topic. And in preparing for this debate, each team had to assign the roles and responsibilities amongst its participants. So these included researching to find evidence in support of the team's position, formulating, structuring the argument that would be given during the debate, and then preparing for the cross-examination that they would undergo by the opposing team. And then lastly, working to their strengths, assigning the speaking parts to get through the introduction, cross-examination, rebuttal, the open Q&A portion, and then closing remarks for their team's argument. Now, this year's topic that the students selected was English COVID Vaccine Challenge Trial is an ideal model for all vaccine trials. Now, in thinking about how to structure this event, we sought the advice of the OU professor Steve Ellis, who's a doctor of philosophy in OU's philosophy department with a lot of expertise and experience in debates. And in doing this, each team is given 10 minutes to stake their position in an opening argument, after which they undergo a 5-minute cross-examination by the opposing team and then have 5 minutes for their rebuttal before switching sides. This is then followed by an open Q&A with the audience, which this year was conducted via Zoom as this was an all-virtual event. And then lastly, each team was given the opportunity to give their closing remarks. Now, this whole event was moderated by our graduate student, Clayton Sandel, who's a PhD student and is also this year's Interdisciplinary Research and Education Chair. And he was very much responsible for spearheading this entire event and also working very hard to garner interest amongst students across campus and get the two teams to assemble and participate in this event. Now, we did effectively get broad representation from our different colleges at our Health Science Center campus, and we're able to include students from the Graduate College as well as the colleges of medicine, nursing, pharmacy, allied health, and public health. We were also able to represent a number of different disciplines with our debate participants, which included basic science research, dietetics, medicine, nursing, pharmacy, public health, and then health research. Now, this year's debate was sponsored by the Office of Interprofessional Education, and so each participant on the winning team received $200, and this was determined by the audience voting for the People's Choice, in which they selected Team 1 that argued in favor of this being an ideal model for all vaccine trials. Listed here are our team's participants, as well as their representative colleges. Now, overall, the Great Debate was a tremendous success. This was the first year ever that GREAT was held all virtually via Zoom due to ongoing restrictions with the pandemic. Not only that, but the fact that this was a brand new, unknown event to our campus, we still had just under 100 people tuning in for the event. And then one of the silver linings of this being online was that people were able to utilize the chat, so we could see tremendous amount of activity in the Zoom chat while this was going on, which was a lot of fun to see as people were tossing questions and comments back and forth. And then the open Q&A that was held after each team had staked their position and done their cross-examinations and rebuttals. Just a ton of engagement from the audience, a lot of questions, so many that we actually had to call time and allow teams to then close it out with their closing arguments to fit within our 90-minute format. And then, as I mentioned, the audience voted to determine the winner of the People's Choice Award. And so we utilized the Zoom poll to gauge the opinion of the audience. It was very close, but it was exciting, and people loved being able to weigh in on who they felt had done the best and making the strongest argument and defending that position and handling the questions and so forth. And so the response was immediate and extremely positive. So there's definitely the overwhelming desire for this to be held again at future greats. And this was conveyed not only by the debate participants themselves, but other students as well as faculty across our broad campus. And so when we really think about the benefits for the participants' perspective in participating in this kind of event, again, we had two teams comprised of a diverse group of students from different colleges, different programs in research and healthcare. So these aren't students that would typically overlap in classes or in their training experience per se, but this gave them the opportunity to come together and gain an appreciation and understanding of what the other focus areas are, and also lending their professional perspectives given the prominent topic in healthcare that was selected for this year's debate. And then, largely speaking, when we think about the competencies that this really helps students develop, major emphasis on communication, both in terms of discussing the topic itself amongst the team, but also developing that argument, writing it, structuring it, doing the research, and then working together to convey that as effectively as possible while speaking throughout the course of the event, both in terms of giving that strong introductory argument, defending it after undergoing the cross-examination, and then being prepared to respond to the Q&A. And in preparing for all of this, it really encouraged them to delegate and utilize their own strengths in assigning their roles and responsibilities for the debate. And the whole event really did focus on values and ethics, both in terms of the topic itself, the ethics bowl format, as well as the professionalism that was emphasized throughout as they worked to state their argument, defend it, but do so in a respectful, professional manner. And then lastly, again, just the emphasis on collaboration and working effectively as a team. So it wasn't a situation where one, two, or three students really were the main voices in this, but everyone played an integral part in formulating, defending the argument, working throughout the course of the event, really working together as a team. So I was very impressed by this, by the effort that the students put into making this event such a huge success, and we were just so excited to see it turn out as well as it did. So we look forward to future greats and future great debates. Thank you very much for your time.